Hi there, friends. It's April Blake, your friendly neighborhood life coach. Today, my life tip is one that is actually a client favorite of mine by far and away. My clients love this exercise, and it's called We're going to build a personal nourishment menu. What that means is we're going to make a list of things that feel good to your soul. And then when you're feeling some type of way, whether it's later today or this weekend or a few weeks down the road, when you're feeling just kind of this some type of way feeling, you will have a resource that you made of items that make your soul feel nourished so that you're not just filling a void. And if you'll allow me, to share like a little bit of a personal tidbit about myself, when I used to feel some type of way, I would get on my computer and I would get on Amazon, or I would go to Ann Taylor, or I had a number of favorite stores that I'd like to go to. When I was in graduate school, I would actually get off the Blue Route in Philadelphia at the Target in Conshohocken, and I would get a great big fountain drink and plug it into the shopping cart and push my shopping cart around Target for a couple of hours, quite a few times a week, as a graduate student. So that really didn't do very well for my bank account, and I did kind of carry that through my adult life, which did not do very well for my bank account either. So that was a kind of a self-destructive way that I would try to repair that some type of way empty feeling. So today I would like to maybe help you start turning the tide if you have some unhealthy habits that you turn to when you're feeling some type of way, and that is through a personal nourishment menu. And this is a list of items that make your soul feel nourished. So now with my clients, we do this probably around week 6 of working together. And it's kind of unfair to you today because you're seeing me in a video and we haven't worked together. So this is kind of like a pop quiz. So instead of like just blasting this onto you and saying grab a pen and paper and write down 10 things that make your soul feel nourished, what I'm going to do is share with you some of my things from my own personal nourishment menu. And they're simple. One thing that you can do to kind of make yourself feel good is buy flowers. Whether you go to the florist and buy yourself a little floral arrangement, or if you happen to be in the grocery store anyway and you see those flowers that are in the cellophane wrappers, maybe once in a while grab up a bunch and bring them home and put them in a vase. There's something about flowers that just kind of lifts your spirits, unless you're allergic. Another thing that I like to do is, in a pinch, I'll take a blanket or clothes, a sweater. I have this sweater that I've had since 2001, and I remember the exact day I bought it. I think it was September 13th, 2001, and we all kind of remember what happened earlier that week in 2001. And I bought this sweater, and it's just this big cardigan sweater, and it has a belt and you tie it around you, and it's looking a little bit worse for wear now, but I call it my security sweater. And when I'm feeling down, I put on my security sweater, and it just kind of warms me and makes me feel comforted. And if I really want to boost that, I'll throw it in the dryer for a little bit, and or I'll take a blanket. I have these big fuzzy blankets that I got when my daughter was a baby, and I'll throw one of those blankets in the dryer. And just there's something comforting about hearing the dryer run, especially if it's kind of a cold, drizzly, wet, gray day. And then there's something nice, just something so soothing about pulling out warm clothes or warm blankets out of the dryer and just wrapping up in them. So that's something that I really like to do. Another thing that I like to do is I like to call a good friend and have like a good conversation with my friends. Go for a drive. So I have a Jeep, and one of my favorite things to do, sometimes if my daughter's with me, she's not a fan of me pulling the T-top out because it's very windy and loud, and sometimes it gets a little cold in the Jeep. Apparently all the air hits where she sits in the Jeep. But that's kind of fun on a nice warm sunny day, just going for a drive. And you don't have to have a Jeep, obviously. You can roll your windows down and just turn up the music and let yourself fly, but not too much. You don't want to get a speeding ticket, because I can't talk your way out of a speeding ticket as your life coach. Another fun thing that I like to do is actually sit on the couch with my daughter, just snuggle with my daughter, maybe read a book or a magazine, or something that doesn't demand too much out of you. You know, there's, for women, it's called chick lit. You know, like the kind of book version of a romantic comedy. You don't really, it doesn't demand much out of you mentally. Beach reads, you know, those are kind of fun if you're feeling some type of way. You just escape for a few minutes. I like to draw. That's something, draw and letter and just doodle around with markers. Those types of things kind of soothe my soul. You want something that doesn't really demand too much out of you. Now, I've got friends that the way that it nourishes them to actually like cook a meal for their loved ones, and that is their personal nourishment. Cleaning. I have a friend that she cleans, even if it's just for 5 minutes. It kind of nourishes her soul because she gets to look around and be like, I accomplished something, and this feels good to me. So your personal nourishment menu doesn't have to be these big things. It doesn't need to be, you know, meditate for a half an hour. If you are into meditation, by all means, if it makes you feel nourished, do it. You know, yoga, Pilates, exercise, meditation, all of those things can be included on your personal nourishment menu if that is what nourishes you. Don't sweat it. Don't make it bigger than it has to be. Don't make it more complicated. You're not trying to impress me or anybody else. These are things that make you feel good in a pinch. And I do want you to write them down so that you can see them. And I even had one client that took her personal nourishment menu and she shrunk it down to size so it like fit in her wallet. And then she laminated it and she took it to work. And then when she was at work and she needed something like to nourish her soul personally, you know, at work, she had that little reference right there. So the sky is the limit in what you do with your personal nourishment menu. The important thing is that you're aware of what makes you feel good and nourished, and you can access it when you need it. So that's your life tip today from your friendly neighborhood life coach, April Blake, and I will be back with more later on. Thank you. Have a great day.